Hey everybody, today we're going to be doing some guided meditation for being mindful and present. Have you ever driven a tractor across a wide open field? The field is without crops. It's dirt, soil, small rocks, maybe a few dry weeds here and there. But it's a vast, open plain of flat, dry earth. And you, sitting atop your tractor, traversing the earth, back and forth, beneath the noonday sun. It's not a hot day. There's a cool breeze, but not so strong as that it would knock your cowboy hat off. Is that a cowboy hat on your head? Not in the traditional sense, but it is a baseball cap that promotes the Dallas Cowboys football team. Have you ever listened to the band American Football? Me neither. As you drive your tractor across the dry, dusty earth, you begin to feel weightless. You forget exactly why it is that you're driving this tractor in a straight line, mile after mile, at the reasonable speed of 4 miles an hour. You've been driving for at least 2 hours, and you haven't turned at all. So it's safe to say that you're at least 8 miles from where your journey began. Every once in a while, a few birds will pass you overhead. They're really high above you, and you can't tell what kind of birds they are. And they don't make any sounds or poop on you, which is just fine. They fly overhead. You watch them approach, cross over you, and continue flying into the distance. You think you would like to be riding one of those birds if it were big enough to support you. If that bird were the size of this tractor, you think, you could easily saddle it up and ride it wherever it is flying. Maybe someday in the future, there will be birds large enough for human beings to ride. I know that's how it used to be, back when there were dinosaurs, and people would use pterodactyls as modes of transportation. It was pretty easy to domesticate pterodactyls and a few other different kinds of dinosaurs. All you would have to do is show them that you were nice and feed them carrots, berries, and twigs. And after a few days of this, the pterodactyl would come to trust you. But you would need to be sure to treat the pterodactyl kindly. For pterodactyls were sensitive creatures, and if they felt hurt by you, they were not quick to forgive. Back in those good old days when people would fly around on the backs of pterodactyls, things were simpler, but they weren't easier. Sure, you didn't have to buy a plane ticket, and you didn't have to fill a car up with gas to get from point A to point B, but you had to train a pterodactyl. You had to feed it carrots, berries, and twigs. You had to clothe it. You had to care for it intensely when it was sick or just feeling kind of sad. And you had to keep it inside of your home. A lot of people think that pterodactyls lived outside, and some of them did. But once you domesticated one, it had to live in the same house as you. You'd have to make a bed for it, set a place at the table for it, and they were even sort of territorial when it came to their spot on the couch. Pterodactyls love sitting in the same place, just like some people do. I know I like to sit on the left side of the couch, and I'll never tell you why. What side of the couch do you like to sit on? Or do you just like to stand? Either way, pterodactyls would choose their spot on the couch and would sit in that same spot every night while the family watched television. And if they saw somebody sitting in their claimed spot, they would pout and get quiet and go to their room, and then somebody would have to knock on their door and say, "Pterodactyl, what's wrong?" And the pterodactyl wouldn't respond. And then you would have to just give the pterodactyl a few days to recover. Like I said, they were sensitive creatures, just like some people. Are you a sensitive creature? Do you get upset if somebody sits in your spot that you've claimed? What do you do when you feel like you've been slighted, or like you've been ignored, or like your needs haven't been met? How do you react in those situations? Well, me, when I feel slighted and upset and neglected, I just go out back and get on my tractor, and I drive it in a straight line across the dirt field, sometimes just for 20 or 30 minutes, sometimes for over 2 hours. There was one time when I was upset and driving my tractor, and I drove it so long that I didn't get back until after nightfall. And the kind of tractor I have does not have headlights. So navigating home proved to be somewhat difficult. I had driven in a straight line, so I knew that all I had to do was turn around 180 degrees and drive back the other direction. That wasn't the issue. The issue is that it was dark, and the moon, being obscured by cloud cover, did not provide sufficient light for me to see the ground in front of me. So I just had to put my trust in my tractor and slowly drive the 3 hours back home. Luckily, I arrived there without any major incident, but it taught me something. It taught me to plan my tractor drives a little bit better. So now when I'm upset, if I know that the tractor drive will be particularly long and the evening is already drawing near, I bottle my frustrations until the next day, when I'll have plenty of time and light to drive my tractor across the earth in a straight line for hours without worrying about the sun going down. I think it's pretty natural to be afraid of the dark. I mean, when you can't see something, you don't know what could be hiding there, watching you. Usually it's nothing. Nothing cares about you enough to watch. But thinking about that when you're in the dark doesn't seem to help. Because being afraid of the dark isn't about logic or reason. It's something else. Something formless. Something deep within each of us. Being scared of the unknown. Frightened of that which we cannot see, cannot comprehend, cannot understand. Sometimes you can't reason with that when you're out in the middle of nowhere on a tractor, and you just have to sit with your fear and let it wash over you. Wash over you as if you were a tractor going through a tractor wash, which is a lot like a car wash, but it's illegal for cars to use it. Tractors only. Sorry, boys. Take your cars to the car wash. This one here is just for tractors. And while you're in the tractor wash, riding your tractor through the tunnel, getting sprayed down with water, soap, detergents, wax, tickled with brushes, and then blown in the face with pressurized air, then you'll really know what fear is. There's no fear like going through a tractor wash for your first time. Nothing compares to that horror. Being alone in the dark is like a walk in the park compared to your first tractor wash. I promise you that. I promise you.